Hey everyone, welcome to Das Haus with Thomas Gunn. So today, instead of my usual German-inspired recipe, we're going to go south of the border and we're going to make some quesadillas. So yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but today it's way too hot to do a lot of cooking inside. Up here in Montreal, today it is, I believe it's 35 degrees and 42 or 44 with the humidity, so it's a scorcher. So this you can do, once you've done all your prep work, you can do this outside on the barbecue. I mean, you can also do it inside in a big pan, but I'm going to do it on a barbecue today. So let's just go through the list of ingredients. You're going to need one red pepper roasted. So I'm going to put this on my gas top. Actually, I'll do that right now. Let's turn this on. And I'm just putting it straight over the heat. And I'm going to keep turning it until it's blackened all the way around. Then I'm going to put it in either a plastic bag or wrap it in some paper towels so that the steam will help the skin come off easier. And then you just rub it off, and then we're going to chop that up. You need a can of black beans. Let's actually get this open. So what we're going to do, I'm going to open these up and I'm going to put them into a simple colander strainer like this. I'm going to pour that in there in my sink, and then we're going to rinse them off. Okay, so that's in the sink. We're going to let those drain. You're going to need some cheddar cheese. I bought the marbled kind. It doesn't matter. You can buy the orange kind, you can buy the white kind, you can buy old, you can buy mild, whatever it is you like. But this is an important step because this is going to act as the glue that keeps your tortilla together. Just checking my red pepper here. It's already getting a little bit black. In addition to that, you're going to need some feta, which is a Greek cheese. The one I bought actually has olives in it. I like olives. You can buy the plain one. There's also one that has fresh herbs. You can buy that, whatever you like. 2 teaspoons of finely chopped garlic. 1 large tomato. Let's get that ready. So I'm just going to cut out the core. And you don't really want all the seeds and the loose flesh on the inside. So I'm going to take this to the sink, hold it like this, turn it upside down and squeeze, and everything on the inside will basically come out. So I'm just going to do that now. There we go. Quick and easy. So as you can see everything on the inside has been squeezed out. Let me just cut this other piece of core. So we're going to chop this fine. So what I do, piece of paper there. Did I get the paper? I just basically cut it into slices one way. And I mean, you could use any kind of tomato you want. Just make sure that the size is about the same. That was kind of like a tennis ball size. You don't have to be so exact with this recipe. So now, because they're all running this way, I'm just going to spin it around. Now they're running the other way, and you just do a nice, quick, fine chop. So there we go. Our tomatoes are done. You know what? Here, I have a bowl all set. Let me get my bench scraper. So let's get our tomatoes already in our bowl. Show you that. Just going to turn around my pepper. So here, can you see how it's blackening? You really do want it to get that black all the way around. So I'm just going to let that go on my gas top. Let's pour in the black beans while we're there. Those are rinsed and drained. Okay, so after that, we need about 3 tablespoons of green onion. So I'm going to say that's about 3 stalks. So we're going to cut off the root end, get rid of those. Then I'm going to slice it down the middle, just like that, and then just like that, and just like that. And if any of you watch Lydia on PBS when she cooks, I'm just thinking now because I always think to myself, she says just like that all the time. Now I get why. All right, so now we're going to chop these really fine. It's good if you have a sharp knife. So let's say that's 1 tablespoon. Let's say that's 2 tablespoons. And 1 more. It's okay to use the darker green in this recipe. So let's say that's 3 tablespoons. This I'm going to throw out. You could use it in a stock if you like, or to flavor a different dish. So the next ingredient is a little controversial in that some people like it, some people hate it. So, what is it, you may ask? It's cilantro, or coriander, whatever you choose to call it. Here, let me just put my green onions in my bowl so they're out of the way. Okay. So I bought a bunch like this. You should have about half a cup finely chopped, which this will probably turn into, so I'm just using the whole bunch. But if you're a sucker for measurements, it's half a cup. If you don't like cilantro, if you're one of those people that finds it tastes like soap, or I've even heard, I don't want to say it, but I've heard even cat urine, although I don't know why anyone would know what cat urine would taste like. That's a little bit scary in itself. Just turning my pepper. Then, obviously, I suggest leave it out. I mean, it's a really traditional Mexican herb, or a southwestern herb, but you know, if you can't stand it, leave it out. But do incorporate some kind of herb. I would probably say parsley, maybe a nice Italian leaf parsley. Again, finely chopped. Chop it the same way I'm going to chop this. I mean, I wouldn't use dill. I would not use oregano. It should be like a big leafy green. So the only one I can think of right now actually would be parsley. Okay, so just kind of like roll it tight. So you have a tight bunch, and then you're just going to chop it as you squeeze it. So now I can tell I'm down to basically the stem. That certainly looks like half a cup to me. So I'm going to put that aside. Just give this another quick chop. All right, there we go. That goes in the bowl. I'm just going to rinse off my knife. So the next ingredient is jalapeno. The recipe calls for 1 jalapeno. You should seed it and then chop it very finely. I don't typically buy the fresh ones. I buy peppers that are preserved in oil. So that's what I get. And I love using this oil. Like when you're cooking and you want just a bit of kick, I just pour out a little bit of the oil into whatever dish it is, and that is really, really a great tip because it's got a lot of flavor and a little bit of heat. So what I do is I try to eyeball how much I think. Like I try to imagine that this is a jalapeno lying here. So to me, maybe 1 more piece. To me, that looks about the size of a jalapeno. So while I've got you here, my pepper is done. I'm going to show it to you. So can you see? It's blackened all the way around. I'm going to get myself a couple of pieces of paper towel. Put it in the paper towel, wrap it up, and just put it aside like this. The steam is going to keep the vapor between the flesh of the pepper and the skin is going to expand, and it's going to start to push the skin away, and that's going to make it very easy to peel. All right, so let's really finely, because you don't want to get a huge piece of jalapeno in a bite full. So chop this very, very fine. I mean, as you can see, it's almost turning into a paste. Just keep switching directions as you go. All right, so let's put that in. I'm going to rinse my hands, and whatever you do, when you're dealing with hot peppers, avoid touching your eyes afterwards. Even if you've just rinsed your hands, because the oil stays on your hands, let's put in the 2 teaspoons of finely chopped garlic. And now let's give this a stir. So that's almost all the ingredients. We're going to add some salt, a pinch of pepper, so I'm just going to sprinkle the top surface with 1 layer of salt. We can try it afterwards. And just a little pinch of pepper, not too much because you do have the jalapenos in there. There, as just a little sprinkle. Okay, so I'm going to give this a quick little taste, just for the seasoning. I know my peppers aren't in here yet. Ooh, yeah, that's got a bit of cake. Get a clean fork. If you don't like spicy, obviously go a little bit less on the jalapeno. But for me, that kick of spice is all right, because it's also going to be surrounded by tortillas and cheese. So I'm going to add in this much sugar. So what is that? Let's say half a teaspoon. Just because I find sugar brightens up the dish. So we've got that. Let's see how I can see my pepper is really soft now. So just open it up and leave it in the paper towel and just use it to wipe off the skin. And you see how it just kind of like wipes off? This is still very hot. And I mean, now you have a roasted red pepper. I mean, how easy is that? You could do it under your broiler in your oven. You know, move your oven rack high up. A little bit of, the charred stuff on here is okay, obviously not too much, so we're good there. Let me just wipe all this away. So now, let's cut this puppy open. There's liquid inside, so be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. Just for the sake of the video, I'm doing this while it's still quite hot. In real life, I would wait. The seeds, this is a bell pepper. The seeds aren't that hot. If you want, you can pull them out. I mean, you don't want to be biting into a lot of seeds, but if there's a few in there, that's fine. Okay, So now we're just going to do the same method here. We're going to cut strips like we did for the tomato in one direction. And try to hold this a bit because it's still so hot. And this really does add a distinctive roasting of pepper. Somehow it just changes the flavor. So let's spin that around and let's cut it in the other direction. So there we go, we've got the pepper done. So after this I'm going to pause the video because that's really all there is to do for this part. What we now need to do is grate the cheese, the cheddar. It says about, the recipe says 1.5 cups, but I'm going to grate the whole block. What I don't end up using I'm going to leave in the fridge and I can easily grab it for other recipes. So let's put that in our bowl. And tortillas. Where are my tortillas? I just bought regular, plain flour, unseasoned tortillas. So you're going to need those. I have a package with 10 in them. And is there anything else? And the, well, the feta, we're going to crumble it as we top the tortillas. All right? So I'm just going to let this sit and marinate. Oh, you know what I wanted to add? Sorry. Just going to get it real quick. I just want to add about a tablespoon of fresh lemon. So let's get that in there. Again, that's just for a bit of brightness. All right, let's give this another taste. Did you get another fork? Yeah, that's great. You know what? I'm going to add a little more sugar. Let's do another ½ teaspoon. So in total now, it'll have been a teaspoon. All right, so there we go. There's the filling. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to clean up my mess, and then we're going to put one together, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, so I've grated all my cheese, and now, so typically when you're making a quesadilla, sorry, let me get that in frame for you. Typically, you take a tortilla, you put your filling, and you top it with another tortilla. I find that makes it really hard to flip them when you're either barbecuing them or doing them in a pan. So what I do is I imagine I have an imaginary line down the middle. I'm going to show you. So let's put some cheese. So you have to put cheese on the bottom and on the top because that is what will seal your quesadilla. So let's put a little layer of cheese on there. Now you take your filling and you're going to sprinkle that all over the top. Just like that. All right. You know, try to do it a little even. Then what you're going to do, sorry for my arm in the way there, is you take some feta, just give it a little sprinkling. Don't overdo it because you don't want, you know, the feta to, oh, figures, now my phone rings. You don't want that. We're going to let that go to the answering machine. Whoever you are, you might be on video. So now you're going to take some more cheese and just go over the top of that. And then what I do is I fold it over. Give it a press. So this is how I like to do them because I find, even on a barbecue, even on the barbecue, I would do it like this, because then either with my hands or with a pair of tongs, I can just pick it up at one side and I could do it like that. All right, so that's how I like to do them. So I have a pan heating up on my stovetop. I'm going to put this on the pan just to make one. Like I said, I'm going to be barbecuing them later. Hold on, I'm going to spin you around. I'm going to be barbecuing them later, so I don't want to make them all right now. I don't want to prepare them too far in advance because the tomatoes, you know, give off a liquid and I don't want my tortillas to get all soggy. So I'm going to get myself, you know what, I have my tongs. So I'm just letting this brown, there's no oil. I'm going to turn that around. There we go, just give it a press. You know, you don't want your heat too high. I might have a little too high. You don't want it too high because you do want to give the cheese a chance to melt. So yeah, see, it's browning nicely. You want some color, but that's coming out nice. So what I typically serve alongside is, you could do a guacamole, but I typically do a sour cream, just plain sour cream. I add a little bit of salt and I chop in whatever herbs I have growing. I have some parsley growing outside, so I'm going to add in a little bit of parsley, but you don't need to. Just plain sour cream is great as well. Or there's another cheese that I believe they have in Mexico, but anyway, I'm not sure, so I don't want to. Crema, could that be it? Anyway, I'm not sure, so don't, you know, trust me on that. There we go. One more turn. So yeah, so if you know, once you've got this going, even on, I mean on the barbecue, you could put a lot more down right away. Let me just get a plate. My plate, so I can see my cheese is oozing. I'm going to turn off the heat. Let's take you guys for another walk. Let's go over here. Let's bring over the quesadilla. There we go. So this recipe certainly should, that's one. So I'm going to say it's going to make at least maybe 8. Depends how generous you are. So what I like to do for serving, have a pair of scissors on the table or just cut them. There you go. Quesadillas. Is the glare for you guys as bad as what I'm seeing? There we go. So there you can see the quesadilla is done. A dollop of sour cream. I guess that's going to be my lunch today and supper. And yeah, so give this recipe a try. As you can see, I mean, we did this basically the whole thing together. It didn't take very long. And have yourselves a great day. Bon appetit. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.